Okay, so I want to share with you in this video. Let me just make sure my microphone is there. Okay, good. I want to share with you in this video what exactly Angela, my wife Angela, and I did to scale our network marketing business to six figures per year. And I'm just going to give you a little side note on this. To be honest, we haven't really pushed our network marketing business for many years. Like we haven't really intensely pushed like we did back then, and we're still generating multiple six figures income from the network marketing business. So, if you are interested in hearing what is the real thing that we actually did to create that, and you're not looking, like, I'm just going to be honest here, you're not looking for it to be sugar coated or made easy. I can make it very simple, but I can't make it easy. It's hard, y'all. It's hard, but right now, I'm grateful that we did that hard back then and we don't do that hard going forward. So if you want to hear exactly what we did, and I'm going to simplify it for you as much as possible, then buckle up because I'm going to give you a lot of details in this video. So it's not going to be a short little 5-minute video. You're going to watch this multiple times. You're going to take lots of notes. I'm going to tell you where I learned all this stuff as well. So you're going to know who to follow, who to listen, who is it that made a big contribution into our business, and so on, so you can go follow those people. All right. So first off, before I start this video, I want you to know, again, for those of you who don't know, my name is Eddie Villa. I don't just coach people in network marketing. I also coach people how to build coaching businesses, communities, membership programs, and even very, very high ticket certification programs, which I have one right now. And then, of course, I've got a live event that's coming up where I've been so blessed here to have an opportunity to partner with one of the greatest network marketing coaches in the world right now. His name is Ray Higdon, and he is going to be coming to a live event that I'm doing on September 17th. So if you get your tickets to that event right now, it's going to be online and in person in Salt Lake City. Then you also get some extra bonuses. In fact, he's going to be doing a training with my group in the third week of February, which is going to be incredible. So stay tuned for that. I'll get you details. So make sure you get your tickets because right now we've got this crazy early bird ticket price that's going to be expiring in the next 24 hours. So if you don't know where that is, go to my social media. All over Facebook, you'll find it. All right. So before we start, I'm going to pull up my dry erase board here and I'm going to start drawing some stuff. What I want you to know, or I want you to tell me right now in the comments, right? Tell me in the comments right now, what would it mean for you to have a six-figure income coming in every month that you don't have to push for anymore? This is something that's extremely important to me right now as heading into my 50th year on this planet. I don't want to work. I want to grind like a dog forever, right? I mean, grind. I don't know why I just said like a dog, but I don't want to grind forever. I don't. I love the concept of passive income and of course, residual income. And so I'm all about building those things. So I want to know right now from you, put it in the comments, what would it mean for you to have a six-figure income that's coming that you don't have to grind for every month? So put that in the chat or put that in the comments right now. I'm going to try to keep my eye on the comments as much as I can. And so while you're telling me what it would mean to you, I also want you to answer another question because see, what I'm all about is creating tools and systems that are done for you as best as I can to help you grow your business into multiple six figures on a passive level. So in the chat or in the comments, right, I also want you to tell me, what is your biggest frustration with growing your business right now? I'm just checking all of the comments real quick. I just want to make sure. Yep. Okay, cool. So let me know, what is it that you're most frustrated with? And I want you to answer those two questions as I get into this. Okay, so here we go. Details. Now let's get some real step-by-steps, some real action plans. My goal for you on this video is for you to make a list of all the things that I'm going to tell you, organize it, structure it, and begin. Okay? This is not a plan that you need to have fully developed before you start. I cannot possibly tell you that you have to have this fully developed before you start because we didn't have any of this fully developed. We just did things and then some things worked, most things didn't. So we're going to focus on the things that did. All right. All right. So here we go. Let me go ahead and change my screen here. All right. So now first off, This was the overall strategy. Okay. I'm going to call this the overall strategy. This was like the big picture. It's one simple sentence. All right. This is what Angela and I wanted to do with our network marketing business. We wanted to focus only on the least required actions as possible. Now, I know my grammar's probably a little goofy here, so I'm just trying to explain this. We tried to figure out what was the smallest amount of things that we had to do that would lead to somebody enrolling and purchasing every month and then doing the business with us so that we would duplicate our efforts. So we tried to narrow it down to the smallest, least amount of actions as possible, whatever it is. So in our plan was not posting on social media every day because that really wasn't part of our strategy. It also wasn't like taking a bunch of certifications or coachings or trainings. It wasn't about that either. It was just like, what is the smallest amount of thing that is absolutely required as possible? And then doing a lot of it. That's it. Like, that was our plan. We need to find out what that was. I'm going to break that down for you in this video. But that was it. That was my overall strategy. We're going to just figure out what is the smallest amount of thing we have to do, and then we're just going to do it a lot with as many people as we can. All right. Now, during this time of our growth, we entered a program called Diamond Club, and so this was I'll explain what Diamond Club is, but this was a pretty instrumental piece in our network marketing business, but it wasn't the first piece. So let me start at the very beginning, and then I'm going to go into what Diamond Club was. So it was like, what was it to start off with nothing? How did we get to our first 1,000? Then how did we get to our first 8 to 10,000? And then how did we go beyond that? So I'm kind of break this up into 3 little sections. So at the beginning, the start. I'm going to call this the start. All right. We picked one product. We picked one product that we wanted to focus on. A lot of network marketing companies have many, many different products. So we just picked one, and it was a kit. And the kit that we picked, it was really easy to pick because that was the kit we enrolled in. That was it. So we picked one product. In this case, it was a kit. So we picked a kit. And I think that kit was, at that time, this was when we first started out, I think that kit was about $200 roughly dollars, and something around there, right? And so we figured if we, who had no money, but we had a really important need, bought this kit, then we feel like we could believe anybody would buy that kit. Again, least amount of actions is required. We didn't want to have to spend a bunch of time doing a lot of mindset training. Okay. So the next thing, we picked one product, a kit. 2, the next thing we did was we talked. Okay, hold on one second. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Okay, KED. We talked to everyone who was like us. So at that time, we focused on everyone that was like us, that we knew. So at that time, we had a lot of young children. So we focused on a lot of people that had a lot of young children just like us. Again, we wanted to make it really simple. We didn't want to complicate it. So we just focused on a bunch of people that we knew. And all we did, okay, this was it, was we invited them, and I'll give you details on how. Don't worry, I'm not going to make this too general. We invited them to learn about it. About the kit. That's it. The product, right? We invited them to learn about the product. Now, how we did that was we simply said, hey, we we just found out about this product that solves this problem. And so we focused on a problem that we personally were dealing with. And we said, is this something that you want to know about? Now, it was never those exact words. It was always different. But generally speaking, that's how the concept was. We never did a scripts or anything like that. We just kind of kept it simple. Hey, it was usually like, hey, Julie, you have kids. Well, we just got this thing that really helped our family, and we're now sharing it with everyone we know. Do you want to hear about it? And that was it. And then we just invited those people to learn about the kit. Now, back then, there was this brand new thing called online webinars. And so what we did was we got our upline. And so this is the last part here. We got an expert to teach them. We got an expert to teach them for us, right? That was it. We got an expert to teach them for us. Let me move this out of the way here. There we go. And because we didn't really know a lot, right? So we just got someone who we knew was an expert who was willing to teach them for us. And in network marketing, this is typically your upline, or if you're partnering with somebody, crossline, right? Somebody who's not in your upline or downline, but maybe a friend or someone you know. The reason why this worked so well, and this is old school network marketing right here. Y'all go read, and this is where I learned this. Read GoPro by Eric Worre. Okay, Eric Worre was a significant piece of our growth. So when I read GoPro, it made this whole process very simple. And so people would come and listen to the expert teach them about the thing because we weren't the experts. They knew we weren't the experts, but they trusted us. And so we shared it. That's huge, y'all. That is huge. And it always began with, hey, you have a family, we're a family, or you're like me, or you're like us. You know, do you want to hear about this? Because we think it'll help you too. So we started there, and we just focused only on people that were like us. And with the one kit that made a difference for us, and we just invited them to learn, and we had an expert teach. So just by doing this, every single day, and I don't mean like just one or two people. We were probably talking to 10 to 20 people every couple of days, right? Because, you know, we would do a bunch of them, and then we'd get 4 or 5 people who want to see the presentation, and some people would buy and some people wouldn't. But we did that about 10 to 20 people every few days. And then every week we would enroll someone new, and then that was it. There was no plan on what to do with them after. We had no like system or program or where to put them or place them. We didn't know anything about placements. All we knew was we had a bunch of people we wanted to share this with. And once again, we got an expert to help us place people. But y'all, just by doing this, in 6 months, we made our first $1,000 check in 1 month. In 1 month, we made our first $1,000 check. After that, it would bounce around a little bit, you know, 800 to 1,200, 600 to 2,000, somewhere in there it would bounce around. So this was the start. And again, no structure, no plans, no way of even knowing what to do with people when we enrolled them. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I wish we had done differently during this time. One thing I would do differently is I would always ask people, which we didn't do that much back then, but I would always ask people, if you're interested in learning how to do what it is we're doing, let me know. And then what I would normally do is I would say, here's what's going on in our family. This is why we're sharing this. And this is what we want to do with our future. That's what I would do. But back then we didn't do that. So I'm not even going to tell you you need to do that because we didn't. So here we go. That's it. We did this for about 2 years, and our income went from about $800 a month to about $2,000 to $3,000 a month consistently for about 2 to 3 years. Now, and doing the same things, about 10 to 20 people every few days. Okay, so there's the start. Okay, now let me tell you about once you're at that place where you're doing, you know, like when we were doing about 3,000 a month. So we're going to call this, I'm going to say 2 to 6K a month. This was our 2 to 6K a month action items. Excuse me. Once we got to this point, we obviously knew at this point, oh, yes, network marketing does work. And so let's tell people about how it works. So we decided to up level our presenting. And by this time, we had gotten pretty good at teaching about that one kit, which we still sold at this time. We were still only focusing on the one kit that got us started. But we were starting to branch out to people that weren't like us. And I can't tell you specifics on how we did that. We just did. Okay. But here's some specifics for you. At this point now, we decided we wanted to be professional. We wanted to take this really seriously. And we created weekly classes. Now, a class in the network marketing company that I was running in our culture, we call it classes because they're like educational. We're teaching you about the products. And then, of course, at this point in time, we were now starting to teach the business. Okay. Now, remember, we were starting to teach business. We were not good at teaching it. We were only good at saying, hey, this is what we did. But we started having weekly classes. And this was always on a Thursday night. I don't know why, but Thursday night tends to be one of the best nights for a class. All right. Hold on one second. Let me move my face out of the way. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So we touched the Thursday night, and it was every night. We never, I think maybe we canceled once in about a year, but we did weekly classes every single night. And in these classes, we were inviting people about, once again, 10 to 20 people every few days. We would just invite. And then the people that would come and then they would enroll, we would invite them to keep coming to the weekly classes and bring people. So the second thing was we would invite people to enroll and come weekly to learn and bring someone. And we did this every week for 1 year. Every week for 1 year, we did these classes. In fact, we did them when we moved. I know it was 1 year because we had moved to North Salt Lake City, Utah, and we only lived there for exactly a year. So that's when we were doing this. And by doing this one thing, right? Weekly classes every single week, Thursday night. And again, we weren't really proficient at teaching the business. All we did was we incorporated the business in our story. In the beginning, when we were first building network marketing, we would tell our product story. But then at this point in time, now that we're making 2 to 6K a month, we started telling our business story too. So by doing in these classes, it was always products and business intertwined. So we would tell, and that's how we did business. We just told our story. We didn't do anything, like we didn't go into comp plans, and we certainly didn't go into structure, and we didn't go into like strategies on how to market yourself on social media. That was too much stuff to do. Again, we were only focusing on the smallest, least amount of stuff required to grow. And so by doing that, we did weekly classes and we just told people to invite. There were several times where there was no one at the class, but either I or Angela would teach anyway, just to keep getting good at it. So I'm being honest, it wasn't always every single week. There were plenty of weeks that we canceled, plenty of weeks that we missed, or plenty of weeks where nobody showed up. And sometimes we were just like, you know what, forget it. We're just not going to even practice it. There were plenty of times like that. But this was what we did consistently. Okay. So that was it. Like, that's all. And as we started doing that in this period, we started to find, we'll say non-builders. Let me explain what a non-builder is. These were people that said they wanted to build, but never actually built. These are people that even invited people, but never enrolled anyone. They just said, I like this and I want to buy or sell. I want to share with the people, but they never actually built. So just so you know, we did find a lot of people that told us, yes, we're in, we want to do this. Let's go. And they'll bring their husbands in. They'll get all super involved. They'll come to all the conventions and the trainings, but ultimately they didn't do either nothing or very little. Now, of course, we love people. We don't ever discriminate, but we had to, obviously figure out a way to find people who were true builders. That was the next one. So I'm going to now break down what happened next. Once we got into 6K a month and we were doing classes on a regular basis, we attended we got invited to a training. Let me just kind of change my screen real quick. We got invited to a training with a very powerful entrepreneur named Satema Gali. And Satema looked at us, looked at our business, and he said, you need to grow your marriage. Your marriage needs to improve. And he also felt like we needed to take our business and our mindset to another level. We needed to incorporate social media and video marketing. And so we started to incorporate those things. So I'm going to share with you what happened next. That was in January. So in January, we were at a rank called Platinum, right? Yeah. And by this point in time, we had done Diamond Club a couple of times, which I'll get into those details in just a minute. But what Satema taught us, right, in January about leadership and training and holding people accountable and encouraging people and uplifting and inspiring people. In January, we were what's called Platinum. But then in March, which was just a couple of months later, we rank advanced to the rank of what's called Diamond. Okay. In just 2 months. 2 months. And this is what we did. So let me go back to the next thing. Okay. So in 2 months, this is what we did. And we're going to call this edit clear. Okay. So this is six figure. Okay. So this is where six figure came from. What we started to do was monthly. Okay, actually, let me go back. Remember, just the fundamental basics. We stayed doing weekly classes. Now, we had moved to a brand new area. It was actually, we moved from Utah to California. So we were still doing weekly classes. Okay. And sorry, hold on. My handwriting is terrible. We were still doing weekly classes. And we were doing the same thing, right? We were talking about the products and we were talking about the business and we were inviting people to enroll and invite. Okay. Same thing. What made the difference between, where we were before and six figures is monthly biz only trainings and challenges. So that was it. That was the main thing that we did that moved us from 2 to 6 to six figures. So at that point, we were doing monthly trainings, and these were like 3 to 5 hour trainings. We were doing them at our house. We weren't really doing a whole lot of stuff online at this time. So we were inviting all the local people that we were inviting, right? Okay. We were inviting people, the local people, to come and learn, not just what is the business, but how to do it, how it works, how you make money, what is this, the compensation plan and how that works. And then we would teach people what to do, like who to talk to, how to talk to them and what to invite them to. And then we, as their upline, would offer extra bonuses and support for their people. And so we did this consistently. Every single week we were doing those classes, and our certainty about the business was getting stronger. So we were speaking with more clarity. And by this point in time, the skills that we developed, and this is the truth, we developed communication skills. We figured out what it is that we needed to say that was working. Okay, because we were saying a lot of things and not everything was working. I'll give you some details about what we were saying. I'll tell you how to break down your story. But we learned about communication. We also learned how to train others. And that was painful because we did it wrong a lot. We thought there was something wrong with the other people. Actually, there was something wrong with us. So we learned how to train others and how to hold people accountable. And we also learned, right, and this is really kind of cool, is we learned how to utilize social media, right? We started to learn how to develop the skill of how to communicate through social media. And so for me, I've always been like fascinated with social media. I love it. I love it so much because it allows me to reach out to a bigger audience. And so this skill that we developed during those times was huge. And y'all, you don't just like, we didn't just go right to these skills. We had to earn that. And by this point in time, just so in case you're wondering, this was about, was March. I'm going to tell you right now, March 2015. That was in March of 2015 when we hit Diamond, and we started in July of 2011. So I want you all to know what the commitment level is that was required for us to do this. So here's how, I'll just give you some thoughts real quick about how I taught. Whenever I would teach a class or even a training, right? Let me go now. I'm going to change my screen. Whenever I would teach or even do a training, hold on. Okay. Whenever I would teach or even do a training, I would always begin the training with, what I'm about to share with you will change not only the way you take care of you or your family's health, but it'll also shift the way you generate an income for you or your family. And so during this presentation, I'll break down exactly what it's going to be and how simple it is for you to do it. And what I would love for you to do is share what it is you're interested in, right? And then I'll do my best to make sure I answer all your questions. And if you have more at the end, we'll put time away for that. Okay. And then I'll start off with asking everyone individually. So usually our classes were like maybe 3 or 5 people. Like we rarely had huge classes. Our trainings got pretty big, but the classes weren't, like a business trainings were bigger. Like we always had way more people there for biz trainings than we had for product classes. Little side note for y'all. So I would always do that and then begin every class with Julie, John, Rosemary, whoever is sitting in front of me. Tell me what it is you're interested in hearing about when it comes to health and income. What are you interested in? And they'll say, well, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in that. Okay, cool. And then I'll move on to the next one. And we would just do that with everyone. So the class started out very interactive. And then I would go into my story. And what I learned when it comes to the story is to keep it clear, have a flow, have a beginning, a middle, and end, and prepare it before you present it. Too many people tell their stories in wacky ways and we go all over the place and it ends up taking way too much time. So have a beginning, middle of the story, and it works like this. The first part of your story is, who were you before you got introduced to the products? Number 2, what was the biggest thing you want that you couldn't get at the time? Number 3, what or how did it get introduced to you? That's a very important thing because the people in front of you had a very similar experience right there, right? How did it get introduced to you? What made you decide to get started either with the products, the business, or both? And then at the end, say, what is life like for you now since you've been using the products or doing the business or both? And so when you just tell your story with those points, then the audience follows on the journey and they know what steps they're going to be taking during your class. You see, the best teachers will always tell you, tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell people what you told them. And that's what we did. We started telling people we're going to tell them, we tell them, and then we would tell at the very end, we would summarize the whole thing all over again. And that's what ultimately put us to the spot where we are generating a 6-figure income without having to continuously push hard every single month. Don't get me wrong. We don't just sit around and not work. That's not what I'm trying to sell you here. But we don't push or grind like we used to. And so the last part I'll share with you real quick is what Diamond Club did. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the thing and then we'll wrap up. So before I move on to the next part, what are you all getting from this so far? Is this helping? My hope is that it's creating some truth here for you. But let me know, what are you getting from this? What's the big takeaway so far? Okay. So let me go ahead and delete my screen and move on to the last part. Excuse me. All right, this is the last part. I'm actually going to call this last part duplication, quote unquote, magic. And then I'm going to do this, a question mark. Because is it really magic? I don't think so. It's not magic, but some people want the magic. So I'm going to tell you duplication magic. Here's what it was. Diamond Club. So Diamond Club was what Angela and I did, and I'm not joking with y'all, 3 times. doTERRA, our network marketing company that we worked with, they now have a smaller version of it called Silver Club, which is a light, slightly less intense focused intention for people who are trying to hit the rank of silver. But anyway, so at this point, we had done it a couple of times, and then the last time was what put us over. And this is what Diamond Club was. We would travel anywhere near us, okay, where we could host classes. And not host. We would travel and invite others to host for us. And we never really traveled further than like 1 state away or maybe 2 states away. I think it was the furthest we'd ever traveled. So we lived in Utah at the time, and then we moved to California, and the furthest we ever traveled was those 2 states, maybe Nevada and maybe Arizona once or twice, but that's not true. That wasn't really a lot of those. So we would talk to everyone we knew and ask them if they would host a class for us. And here's what would happen. We would always ask for 2 or 3 people to do a class on the same day because someone always canceled. It always happened. It just happened so many times. But basically, we just asked people to host classes for us, and we did them, once again, weekly, right? We would travel as often as we can for a short period of time. This was actually 90-day. I think it was 90 days. Maybe it was 120 days. But roughly for about 90 days, right, we did these classes that other people hosted for us. And then once again, we presented our kit, our favorite kit, right? The kit that we love, the kit that we kept doing the same one. We didn't do whatever new stuff was out. We just focused on the same kit. Then we invited people to invite. We invited people to invite. And once again, we still did monthly biz trainings. At this time, every one of our classes was always like, here's what we do. Here's why we do it. Here's how you can get involved and how you can benefit. We did this 3 times. And during those 3 times, we found three very powerful, highly influential leaders that blew up our business, like in their own business, obviously, in such a massive way. That means that 3 out of like the 50 or 100 people that told us they want to build a business, really 3 were huge. And those 3 created a massive amount of what's called residual income, unilevel residual income and rank advancing. And we got to a rank called Blue Diamond. So y'all, we hit Blue Diamond. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do this last part here and then wrap up. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear all your questions. Put all your questions in the chat, please. We achieved the rank of Blue Diamond in November of 2017. So 2011 to 2017 was our 6-year journey to Blue Diamond. The reason why we did that is because I refused to go work for anybody else anymore. I was so sick of it. It freaked me out. I was terrified of it. So this was so much more fun. It was scary. It was hard. It was very expensive. We had a lot of people turn on us. A lot of people say I'm in and then just go south. All of the crap happened, but all of the wonderful things happened. Like we got connected with a lot of amazing people. And so that was our journey to multiple 6 figures and ultimately residual. So let me just wrap up with a couple of thoughts for you all. Now, as you're watching this, right? I want you to think about why, again, the 2 questions I asked you earlier. What would it mean to you to have a multiple 6-figure income coming every month without you having to grind? Now, please don't misunderstand my comment. I am not saying you don't work. Don't get involved in the business where you don't have to work at all and you just make all this money. I don't even know what that is, so I can't teach you that. But I can tell you, you don't have to grind. We haven't had to grind until or since November of 2017. That was the last time we really grinded hard. And then it was March of 2018 that I got introduced to strengths and my whole world changed. So that is exactly how we did it. And again, I'm going to tell you, we still, to this day, do not have this amazing system. When people get enrolled, they go here, they click there, and then they get this and they watch this. We still, to this day, do not have that structured system. We had systems throughout our career. We would start them and we didn't work, and then we would change it. And it was constantly changing, constantly tweaking. Nothing ever really worked perfectly. But it was that engaging constantly and adapting and evolving and pushing and challenging ourselves that got us to the point where every month, right, we see this check thanks to the amazing company that delivers the best products in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned, right? doTERRA does the best products in the absolute world. And if you're not a doTERRA user, I really encourage you to consider looking into them, and always message me. I'm happy to share with you. But my plan here is not just to help you grow a doTERRA business. It's to help you grow a network marketing business if that's what you want to do. I've got a lot of other trainings on coachings and how to market your business online and all that other stuff. So always follow me for those things. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this video, if this got a lot of value from you. Share with others if you felt like it helped. And of course, if you ever need one-on-one support, I am available. One of the things I love to do is I love to help people that maybe feel like they don't have an upline to support them. I've seen that a lot, and which is why I've always been so engaging with my business online as much as possible. So feel free to message me if you'd like some one-on-one support. And finally, get your tickets to Unleash Your Strengths Live 2024, September 17th. Ray Higdon and Unleash Your Strengths, y'all. This is incredible news. I hope you all come. Get your tickets now because we've got this crazy early bird price available just for a short period of time. Depending on what time you're watching this video, I can't tell you exactly how long, but it's very short. I'll put the links in the comments or just follow me on social media. You'll find it. Go get that early bird ticket. My friends, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye, everyone.